Hello, beloved Leo. I'm Luna Celestine, and today, June 18th, 2025, I invite you into a quiet space where the smallest things hold the power to create the deepest healing. Perhaps you've been waiting for a loud sign, a burst of light from the universe, a moment that shouts, "This is your turning point." But that's not how today arrives. It doesn't come with fanfare. It comes like a soft breeze slipping into forgotten corners of your soul, like a gentle whisper reminding you, you don't need to do something grand to be healed. Under the waning moon in Pisces, the energy doesn't ask you to act. It asks you to notice, not to fix, but to feel, not to shine for the world, but to sit beside your own heart and ask, what part of me have I been too busy to care for? What has been silently waiting for my attention? Maybe it's an old feeling you never named, a truth you avoided, or maybe it's just the deep longing to finally rest, truly rest, without performing, without pretending. Leo, you carry the light of the sun, but even the sun must soften at dusk. Today is that dusk, that sacred pause, the chance to exhale, to reorder what's tangled, and to remember, a quiet shift can sometimes heal a wound that has lingered for years. The universe is slowing down, not to delay you, but to let your soul catch up with your body. And I'll walk with you through this moment, breath by breath, heartbeat by heartbeat. Today, as the waning moon glides through Pisces, a realm flooded with intuition, memory, and the unnamed, you may feel a gentle unraveling, like silk threads loosening from the edges of your being. As a fiery Leo, you're used to moving through life with the applause of others echoing behind you. You shine, you lead, you inspire. But today, the universe quietly draws the curtain, dims the spotlight, and invites you backstage, not to hide, but to reconnect with the flame that burns behind the performance. This is not about withdrawal. It's about returning to the inner sanctum where your light is not a spectacle, but a sacred offering, where you are not the strong one, or the brave one, or the center of the room, but simply you. Mercury in harmony with Neptune draws a bridge between your mind and your heart, opening a channel for intuitive messages to flow through dreams, symbols, and sudden waves of emotion that don't ask to be explained, only felt. You may find yourself remembering a person who once meant everything, sensing a forgotten dream nudging you gently awake, or feeling a heaviness in your chest that has no story but demands to be witnessed. Don't push it away. Don't intellectualize it. Today, your feelings are not interruptions. They are invitations. Every emotion is a messenger, carrying letters sealed in souling, waiting to be read not with your eyes, but with your presence. So write, rest, light a candle and sit in silence. Let what's rising come all the way through. This is how you reclaim your fire, not through noise, but through stillness. With Mars slowly making its way into Virgo, a new cycle is beginning to take shape. One that calls for grounded action, clear systems, and the kind of focus that transforms effort into real, sustainable results. But today is not that beginning. Today is the inhale before the work begins, the moment to gather your tools, sharpen your vision, and most importantly, tend to the emotional roots beneath your financial patterns. If you've recently found yourself spending impulsively, overcommitting your energy to projects that drain you, or chasing success in ways that leave you feeling more empty than full, pause and ask yourself, what am I really trying to feel safe from? What am I trying to prove? Sometimes the purchases we make or the work we overextend ourselves for aren't about the thing itself. They're about filling a space inside us that was never meant to be filled with numbers or titles or approval. There may be an old wound lingering quietly in your relationship with money, perhaps from childhood, perhaps from a time when you were told your worth depended on what you could produce or earn. And as the moon passes through Pisces, that wound may surface not as a clear thought, but as a subtle heaviness, a quiet sense of scarcity even when nothing is lacking on the outside. Don't rush to fix it. Instead, give it attention. Let yourself sit with the discomfort without judgment, as you would sit beside a younger version of yourself, scared, striving, and still learning what it means to be enough. Use this day to write down your goals, not from ambition, but from clarity. Organize your workspace not just to be more efficient, but to create an environment that feels safe and aligned with your soul's rhythm. Let your finances become less about control and more about relationship, one where you are both the provider and the protector of your inner peace. Because the truth is, Leo, abundance isn't something you chase. It's something you receive when your actions are in harmony with your truth. And today, that truth is asking not for performance, but for presence. In matters of the heart, today may feel like trying to read poetry written in fog. There are lines that stir something deep within you, yet you can't quite make out the meaning. A glance may linger a little too long or not long enough. A message you hoped for might arrive late or not at all. Someone you usually feel close to may seem suddenly distant, emotionally adrift, as if they're in their own inner ocean, unreachable for reasons they haven't spoken aloud. This is not a day to demand answers. It's not a time for confrontation or clarity. It's a moment to feel beneath the surface, to honor the invisible threads that connect us even when words fail. You may want to fix the tension, clear the air, or push for certainty, but instead you are being asked to lean into the discomfort of the unknown and to trust what your heart perceives more than what your mind can prove. If you're in a relationship, resist the temptation to make assumptions or take things personally. Your partner, like you, is under the influence of this Piscean moon, sensitive, inward, and perhaps navigating their own emotional tides. So rather than seeking control, soften. Offer understanding without needing to be understood. Let love today be a space of gentle witnessing, not problem solving. And if you're currently walking this path alone, don't be surprised if someone from your past drifts into your thoughts, or even your dreams. You might feel a sudden warmth, a strange pull towards someone you thought you'd long forgotten. That isn't random. Pisces energy blurs the boundaries between memory and desire, and what arises today may be the echo of a connection still lingering in the soul. Whether partnered or solitary, today is not about fixing love. It's about feeling it in all its mystery and subtle motion. Let your heart speak in its own language, one that doesn't need punctuation or permission, because sometimes the deepest intimacy comes not from being understood, but from being held, even in silence. Today, your body becomes a finely tuned instrument, sensitive to even the slightest shift in energy, environment, or emotion. What you usually shrug off might linger longer. What you normally digest, whether it's food, noise, or stress, may sit heavier than usual. The moon in Pisces casts a soft, dissolving light over your physical and emotional systems, making you more porous, more absorbent, more affected by the things you often power through without pause. Your digestive system in particular is asking for kindness, not just through what you eat, but how you eat. This is not a day for rushing through meals between tasks or numbing discomfort with sugar, caffeine, or distraction. Choose what is warm, soft, and easy to receive. Soups, steamed vegetables, warm tea. Let each bite feel like an act of care, not just nourishment. The same goes for information and interaction. Today is not the time to binge on news, scroll endlessly through chaotic feeds, or force conversations you're not emotionally prepared to hold. Your nervous system is also highly responsive now. Even small conflicts or overstimulating environments can feel overwhelming. That doesn't make you weak, it makes you awake. Pisces energy amplifies the intuitive, the energetic, the invisible currents running beneath the surface. So if you suddenly feel tired after talking to someone, trust that. If your chest tightens around a particular task, don't dismiss it. Your body is speaking to you with exquisite precision, and your only task today is to listen. Try creating a gentle ritual of stillness. Maybe it's a few minutes with your hand over your heart in silence, or lying in bed with no device in sight. Brew a cup of herbal tea not just to drink, but to hold, to feel its warmth against your palms. Light a candle not to illuminate the room, but to signal to your soul, you are safe here. You don't have to be on right now. In a world that praises constant motion, days like this are sacred counterweights. They remind you that rest is not a reward, it's a responsibility. Your fire, dear Leo, needs tending. And today that means letting it burn low, letting it glow quietly in the dark, without needing to prove itself to anyone. Within the realm of family and close connections, today carries a subtle but undeniable distance, like standing in the same room but feeling a world apart. There may be no argument, no harsh words, no visible rift, and yet you might sense that you and your loved ones are drifting in separate inner currents, each submerged in your own quiet ocean of thoughts, emotions, or personal burdens. This isn't something to be alarmed by. Under the influence of Pisces and a waning moon, many people instinctively retreat inward, seeking solitude not out of avoidance, but as a way to integrate what cannot yet be spoken aloud. If someone in your family feels emotionally unavailable or strangely silent today, it doesn't mean they've withdrawn from you. It may simply mean they're deep in their own processing, just as you are. The most loving thing you can do right now isn't to force closeness, but to extend quiet compassion. Instead of demanding conversations or trying to fix the emotional gap, try offering something small, something unspoken but sincere. A message scribbled on a note and left on a kitchen table, a hand gently placed on a shoulder in passing, a favorite meal prepared without explanation. These seemingly insignificant gestures carry more weight than we realize, especially on days like today, when words can feel too sharp, too slow, or simply insufficient. They become bridges, soft, sacred ones, that let the heart cross back over when it's ready. Sometimes the most healing form of connection is not dialogue, but presence. Just being there. Just remaining available with no pressure, no timeline, no expectation. And for you, Leo, whose love often roars with boldness and fire, this is a moment to explore a quieter form of warmth. The kind that glows steadily even when no one's watching. So trust that even if a loved one seems distant, the bond is still intact. Trust that your energy, when rooted in softness and generosity, can reach places no words ever could. And in giving that grace, you create the conditions for others to feel safe enough to return. Not out of obligation, but out of recognition that love, in its truest form, never leaves. It simply waits, patiently, in the quiet. Today, your energetic field finds its most natural harmony with the gentle emotional currents of the water signs. Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. These are the souls who may not speak often or loudly, but whose presence offers a kind of wordless understanding, the kind that reaches you not through explanation, but through resonance. In their company, you may feel seen without having to perform, heard without having to clarify, and comforted in ways that bypass logic entirely. These connections, whether long-standing or newly formed, have the potential to feel like emotional sanctuaries today. You may find yourself drawn to someone who offers soft empathy rather than solutions, or who can sit with you in silence and still make you feel less alone. If one of these signs enters your orbit today, don't dismiss their quiet energy. There is wisdom in their way of being, and they may reflect back to you a gentleness you've forgotten you deserve. As for the colors surrounding your aura, ivory white and soft lavender carry particular power under today's skies. Ivory speaks of purity, simplicity, and healing. It wraps around you like a protective veil, calming the nervous system and inviting peace where there was restlessness. Lavender, or light purple, on the other hand, tunes you into the intuitive frequencies of your inner world. It opens your crown and third eye chakras, allowing clarity to arise, not from thinking, but from feeling, from dreaming, from knowing without needing proof. If you have access to an amethyst crystal, carry it with you, wear it, or place it beside your bed tonight. This stone is not just beautiful, it acts like a spiritual filter, helping you release emotional static and remain centered as the subtle messages of the day flow in. Let it be an anchor for your more sensitive states, a companion that steadies you when your inner tides begin to shift. And should you feel drawn to numbers as messengers, look for 2, 7, and 22 throughout your day. The number 2 is a reminder of balance and partnership, of the quiet power that comes from being with, not above, another. The number 7 carries the vibration of deep inner knowing and spiritual insight, nudging you to trust what you sense, even if it cannot yet be named. And 22, this is a master builder number, a sign that something sacred is being quietly constructed beneath the surface of your life. It may begin with a pause, a letting go, a moment of grace. But from that stillness, a doorway opens. And on the other side, Leo, waits something more aligned than anything you've had to chase. So let these elements guide you, not to act, but to attune, not to control, but to allow. Today, the universe speaks in whispers, and when you align your energy with what feels soft, intuitive, and true, you'll hear it clearly. And if you've stayed with me this far, Leo, then I believe what you're seeking today isn't a clear answer. It's a homecoming, a return to yourself, a return to the part of you that has been quietly waiting to be seen, to be held, to be loved, without needing to prove anything at all. Today, you don't have to be strong. You don't have to shine for the whole world. You only need to shine for you, even if it's soft, even if it's quiet, even if it flickers. Let things be still for a while. Give yourself permission not to know, not to push, not to perform. Because in that gentle uncertainty, the universe is clearing a path for something deeper to rise, something more intimate, more sacred, more real than anything you've chased before. I'm Luna Celestine, and I've always believed that each time you choose to come home to your heart, you change the course of your destiny, even if it's just with a breath, a whisper, a single act of tenderness. You are already healing your life from the inside out, and that, Leo, is more than enough.